Hi everyone, this is Nathan Voitenkov, co-founder and CEO of Genway AI. Welcome to this short series of explainer videos covering the three pillars of our platform and its capabilities: craft with AI, conduct, and analyze. In the previous episode, we covered the craft with AI. That's our framework through which insights generating functions are able to create a new in-depth interview flow by answering 5 primary questions. As a reminder, we chose to focus on creating an AI agent to investigate customer churn on Netflix. The backbone story of that is that I have recently unsubscribed from Netflix after multiple years of being a loyal customer, and no one actually reached out to me to ask why. With that in mind, let's jump straight into it. As I have mentioned, we covered the 5 questions visible on the left-hand side. As I walk you through the features and configurations, you will be able to see how the right-hand side of the screen changes in line with those configurations. And of course, you can go back to the project details and edit them as we go. In terms of the top-level settings, you're able to add the project description notes. Those are internal notes that would be visible to you and your teammates. You're able to choose the interview length, whether it's a 10 minutes interview or a 20 minutes interview. Towards the end of the interview, if the AI agent wasn't able to cover all the different topics that you intended for this interview, it's going to inquire with the interviewee if he has a few more minutes to run overtime and continue the discussion, so no worries there. In terms of the different interview modes, we are currently supporting 3 different modes: typing, talking, and both combined. So if you have a large customer base across different countries, some of those countries might have a lower internet bandwidth, and as a result, you would like to allow those users to have access to a typing mode interview. Just something to keep in mind. Sometimes we also came across instances where someone would be commuting to work, say for example, and he is not as comfortable to conduct an interview in a talking mode, but they would be happy with the typing mode. The next option over here is how we would like our users to authenticate. And we are able to choose between no authentication at all, to things such as authenticate with Google or ask for a specific identifier. Let me click on the ask for a specific identifier just to give you a sense. I have it ready over here, email account associated with Netflix. Let's go with this option. You can see how the screen on the right-hand side was adjusted accordingly. Moving on to the next thing, company name. In certain instances, you would like to identify with your brand name, such as Netflix. In others, you might want to avoid that in order not to create a bias. That would depend on the topic that we're investigating. So in this particular instance, let's go with Netflix indeed, since we're investigating churn. Set an interview limit. Same over here. In certain instances, you would like to interview all potential interviewees, such as customer churn. In other instances, you might want to set a certain limit. So in this instance, let's just go with 300 interviewees. And we are down to the last few options over here: follow-up option and camera access. Let's grant camera access. Our recommendation is that you always opt in for the camera access. It feels more natural for the interviewees when they talk to an AI agent to have their camera on. It creates this mirror effect. Now, in terms of the follow-up option over here, that's your ability to ask the interviewee at the end of the interview if they would like to opt in for a potential follow-up discussion with the CS manager, with the researcher, with the product manager, or just for someone from the company if they're interested to reach out to them to double down on their feedback. With that in mind, let's move on to the next section. And the next section, that's the design section. This is how we add some color to this thing. Let's choose a Netflix logo. let's brand it a bit with Netflix colors. Not the color I had in mind. Here you go. And here you go. Fantastic. So that now kind of feels and looks more like Netflix. Let's also change the title. Customer churn feedback. Let's click save. Here you go. So we're almost there. I will mention one more thing. If you would like to update the background, so you're also able to do that. Moving to the last section, this is the share section, and this is where you can automate things. So for example, if you're using a panel recruitment software such as user interviewing, user testing, user interviews, or any of those, you're able to redirect the users automatically after the interview back into the relevant URL. Over here, I'm just going to go with genway.ai/thank you, which should get the job done. And the last bit over here, that's the user ID. As I have mentioned, you can choose multiple ways of authenticating users. If you have UTMs implemented, you can automatically pass the user ID from your system into Genway, and in such way kind of reduce the friction for the interviewees. So let's click external ID. Your project is almost ready to go live and into production. The last two things we recommend customers to do before deploying the project is to actually taking a live demo, as well as generating some synthetic interviews. Those two would give you more transparency and better understanding of how the experience is actually going to look and feel for your end customers. So at the Take Live Demo tab, I'm able to turn my camera on, turn my microphone, enter my email. And once I click the start, the interview button, the interview is going to get started, and you're able to kind of go through the flow. If something doesn't feel right, or if you still want to make some adjustments, you're able to do it by going back to the project details tab on the left-hand side. The second thing is you're able to go to the Generate AI Demos tab, and over here you will be able to review 3 synthetic interviews that were generated based on the guidelines that you provided to the AI agent. Once you have done those two, went through a live demo yourself, and generated some synthetic interviews, you're able to click the Publish button, and your project is live. You can copy the interview link and you can start working. Thank you very much. That was the second episode of our short explainer video series. If you're part of the insights generating functions or genuinely curious about the system, feel free to reach out to us at www.genway.ai and ask to access a demo account to play with the system. Thank you very much, and I will see you at the next episode.